reminded us all what courage looks like. This is News from 5D. I'm Otis 5D.
News from 5D with Otis 5D.
All right, so before we take a look at what old Nicholas J. Fuentes had to say about Ye and his big balls, pause. Let me just give you a brief rundown in case you live under rocks or you're not terminally online. So Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, just is finishing up what many people are calling a generational run on X, formerly known as Twitter, posting something like 72 hours nearly straight. It's got to be almost 100 tweets, and it just ran the gamut. He declared himself a Nazi. He hailed Hitler. He talked at length about the bad experiences he's had over the years with Jewish business people, and how Michael Jackson and many other black entertainers also have had bad experiences with Jewish business people. And he talked about that Puff Daddy should be freed, and that domestic violence is not the worst thing, and that women, especially Jewish women, castrate their men, and that men are actually the oppressed ones, and that white men are the most oppressed of all. And he put up a White Lives Matter shirt, and then he put up a swastika shirt, and then he talked about how his wife is the baddest bitch of all time, and that he has dominion over his wife, which is a very traditional idea, but certainly not a feminist idea in the modern understanding of feminism. And then, I'm sure I'm missing things, but he began spamming porn, and he put dozens of links to hardcore porn. Not links, like videos of hardcore porn. And then the Super Bowl happened, and he debuted his Super Bowl advertisement that he paid $5 million for, that he took in the dentist's office when he had his teeth replaced with platinum grills permanently, supposedly. And that was the ad, was just him talking about that and saying go to Yeezy.com. And then when you went to Yeezy.com, which is his fashion brand, there was only one item available, which was a swastika t-shirt. Shortly after that, he deactivated his Twitter account, and he said that this had been like an ayahuasca journey, and that he felt kind of like cleansed because he had gotten everything out that he wanted to say, and he had held nothing back. He reiterated that a number of times, actually, like while he was throughout the 72 hours. And I think that's a very important point. I know my delivery on this is like somewhat monotone, but like don't skip over that. He reiterated throughout that this was a very cathartic experience he was going through of getting out everything he ever thought. Oh, he also talked endlessly about how he never wanted to work with fat people or ugly people, and how fat people are offensive, and how fat women should not be promoted anywhere because it's offensive to have to see fat women, and it's also very unhealthy, and it promotes unhealthiness. And let's see, is there anything else that I want to say? And then he kind of signed off of Twitter, and he deactivated his account. And then today, Shopify, which is one of the largest e-commerce platforms on planet Earth and run by at least one Canadian Jew. I think only one of the two co-founders is Jewish. Harley Morgenstein, something like that. Might be both. I can't remember. But they removed his site. His Yeezy.com e-commerce website uses Shopify, and they removed his site, and that's where we stand currently. So this video is something that Ye retweeted during the 72 hours, and this is a video of Nick Fuentes explaining his take on what we were witnessing while we were witnessing it. And there's one other event that was going on that is relevant to make sense of what Nick's about to say, which is that on the same simultaneous to Ye's unleashing catharsis, Trump, Elon, and Tucker Carlson took a photo together in the White House. I think it might have even been in the, what is it called? Dude, I'm blanking on the name where the president sits. My bad. And Tucker and Elon are wearing like giant oversized foam MAGA hats. And that happened, and they posted it, and it was like, wow, Trump and Elon and Tucker all together. Oval Office. That is the room I was looking for. My bad, y'all. Okay, so this is 1 minute 13 seconds. Nick, take it away.
And yet, when we see a real nigga go off today, we're reminded what balls look like. We are reminded. Pause. We're reminded what courage, freedom, independence, sovereignty, boldness, truth. We're reminded what that looks like, what that feels like. It's the same kind of energy that Trump had at the start, but which he has since lost. And now you can just see it. When you look at a picture of him today with Elon and Tucker, and then you see Ye on the timeline, it's obvious where the energy is.
It is indeed obvious where the energy is. Whatever you think of that energy, it's obvious. See, that's the thing. Trump had that energy in 2015, 2016, and like, what's her face? Ann Coulter, said like, in a sense, like, I think he's going to win. And one way to analyze that, certainly putting words in her mouth, is that like, he's got the juice. He's got the energy. People are like, you're insane. He's an idiot. He's a joke, right? And at the same time, and now this is what people are saying about Ye. He's a vile human being. He's disgusting. He's evil. Nevertheless, that's where the energy is. The analogy that's coming to mind for some reason is that I remember when I was a teenager, I can't remember where I heard this, but it's like, one way to get a girl to like you is to get her to hate you. Because the distance between hating you and loving you is very small. And whereas her being indifferent to you or just liking you is what you want to avoid, because the magnitude of the energy is what you're going for. It's like the absolute value, basically. Energy is an absolute value. That's actually a really good way to think about it. And so right now, they're probably guffawing at Nick, and even me making this video about Nick
person is parking cars for Netanyahu, and another person is once again risking it all.
Risking it all, bro.
Maybe not even for a point. I think what he's doing, the point is in itself. The point is in the action.
Yes.
This is a free person talking.
This is a free person talking.
And rights and of a person's opinion. So,
very articulate, as Nicholas J. Fuentes almost always is. And so now my take on this is that this is one of the most courageous acts that I've ever witnessed in my entire life. It might be the most. That's a big statement. It's up there. It's up there. And I remember being equally flabbergasted when Kanye West at that time got up and said George Bush doesn't care about black people. I'm old enough to remember that. And when he got up and came on stage with Taylor Swift and said, "Hey, I'm going to let you finish," but Beyonce had one of the best music videos of all time. And the audacity to just do that in front of the whole world is so ballsy. It's like, it's so impossibly brave. And I hate the people that don't see it. They're like my enemy. So if you're one of those people, you should know you're basically my enemy. And I hate you. Because to think that he's just crazy, it's not hard for him. Man, when you listen to him speak after, I saw some paparazzi video after. Dude, I saw a video where he's talking about Kodak Black. Y'all don't even know. Like, he's speaking so like a guy, like just the most regular guy, the most thoughtful, intelligent, conscientious guy. And to be able to withstand the weight. And most importantly, not only is it the general public that's all going to have opinions, it's your kids, it's your current wife, it's your ex-wife, it's the entire hip-hop music industry, it's the entire fashion industry, it's every Jewish person, it's every Jewish business person, it's all the people you've ever worked with, it's all your employees. And to stand on business in front of the whole world is... I've hardly ever seen it in my entire life. I feel like for some reason, I hope this isn't a horrible example, but Louis C.K., once he got caught, like asking women if he could masturbate, with them in the room, which, is weird. And then he came back and he owned it, and he didn't let himself get pushed aside. Like, that's up there. But I think that when people want to talk about the content of what he said about Hail Hitler and I'm a Nazi and I love Hitler and the Jews would be better as slaves, not easy, man. Whatever you think about it, in 2025... it is not an easy thing to have a large audience and say that in front of the whole world and say that I have hit women and that we should forgive people who have hit women because women drive men crazy and attempt to castrate them. And that fat people should be, more or less exiled from society. I mean, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. And I acknowledge you probably have to go into something like a manic state. As he described it, it was like an ayahuasca journey. But I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in the specifics like a retard and miss the demonstration of bravery and courage. It's like Eminem could never, Obama could never, Ice Cube could never, Tyler the Creator could never. None of these people could find the actual taboos in our society. Not these little bullshit taboos that they dance around with, but the real taboos in our society. I think he said something about the vaccine too. I kind of forget right now, but I think there was a whole thing about the vaccine. I forget. And press on them in front of the whole world. And to put a swastika t-shirt as the only item on your website after running a Super Bowl ad. Like, I think he said this. I think at one point he said that's the greatest piece of performance art he's ever done. It's like Lady Gaga wearing a meat suit. And dude, I thought that was hardcore. I actually thought that Lady Gaga wearing a meat suit was hardcore. Like, damn, that's like fucking ballsy. Dude. Lady Gaga is like, you can't, she's like a microscopic blip on the courage graph compared to what Ye did. And I guess for anyone who's still watching, I would just say, like, what if you can just acknowledge from a very neutral perspective the bravery and courage that was required to do that, like, what would you do with a similar amount of bravery and courage? Because it's not for you to do what he did. It's for you to do what you would do. And that's what I am currently and for the foreseeable future asking myself. So thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Check out what I got going on my website. Salute to the young boy Nick and the goat Ye. And go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz.
Go fuck yourself.